Turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. If anyone slaps you on the cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. Noble words. Words that sound like they are coming from a person of great character, magnanimous, docile, and stoic. Words allegedly spoken by Jesus Christ, if one assumes him to be a real person. Indeed, Jesus spoke many such aphorisms in his teachings. Here are a few more examples. If someone wants to take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, then go with him 2 miles. Blessed are the meek. Do not worry about tomorrow. Whoever wants to be first, must be servant of all. Whoever loses his life will find it. Love your enemies. Forgive 70 times 7. Give to the one who asks you. Blessed are the peacemakers. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for friends. Whoever humbles himself like this child, is greatest. The meek shall inherit the earth. It is more blessed to give, than to receive. You could easily be excused, if, coming away after hearing all this, you start thinking to yourself, what a great man. What words of love he personified. Truly, this is what a loving God would sound like. But wait. Before you swoon and fawn all over the Jesus Christ character, consider putting your admiration on hold, as we look into the background and the context of these remarkable teachings. At the time of Jesus, Judea was under Roman occupation. In fact, much of the Levant had been conquered by the Romans, and the Hebrews would be under the rule of the Romans for 8 centuries, effectively starting in 63 BCE, when Pompey had arrived in Jerusalem to settle a dynastic struggle. The relationship between the Jewish people and their Roman masters during these 8 centuries is well documented. And it is a very fraught relationship, full of strife and violence. The historical record shows that the Romans and the Jews were engaged in fighting intermittently, during the whole time the Romans were in control of Judea. The causes can be summarized as follows. The Romans demanded to collect taxes, and imposed their beliefs, values, and customs, upon the Jews. For their part, the Jews fervently resisted paying taxes to the Roman Empire, and utterly rejected Roman beliefs, values, and customs. As discussed in other videos, the Great Jewish Revolt of 67 CE resulted in a Roman victory, albeit at great cost to their empire. If the Romans had wanted to control the Jews, without expending a huge amount of military resources, a possible method would be to secretly create a pacifistic Messiah, who would teach the Jews to be servile to their Roman masters, through the medium of Holy Scripture. Many think the reference in the Gospels to the Holy Jewish Temple being turned to rubble is intended to be a prophecy regarding the outcome of the Jewish revolt. Jesus also encourages paying taxes to the Romans, in the well-known Caesar's coin episode. And it is widely considered that these verses were written after the time of the Jewish revolt itself. Moreover, Jesus's comments on food restrictions and circumcision favor Roman over Jewish culture. We also note that Jesus preached to the Jews, not to the Romans. Given all these details, let us now reimagine Jesus's teachings, without their intended subtlety and clandestine objectives. Here goes. Love your enemies, the Romans. If the Romans ask for 1 acre of your land, then give them 2. If a Roman soldier asks for one of your daughters as his concubine, give him also another daughter. Do not resist the Romans even if they are harsh towards you. Be prepared to enter battle as their vassals, even if you are killed. Even if the Romans take everything you own, be meek and subordinate, for the meek shall inherit the earth, and your reward shall be in heaven. This then, is the real Jesus. Sculpted from the imagination of imperialists, giving moral teaching to their subjects, the Jews. Notice that what Jesus prescribes, if followed to the letter, would result in the complete and utter destruction of Jewish society, of Jewish culture. Which is exactly what the Romans wanted to achieve, and had managed to do in many of their other colonies. Thus, it is the case, that Jesus, whilst entirely mythical in nature, can still be a secret Roman operative, a veritable secret agent, who covertly spreads the Roman agenda, dressed in the garb of a pacifist messiah. Any competent student of history will immediately see how this is an accurate reflection of the Roman-inspired Christian playbook. That is, conquer a tribe or society, enslave them, steal their land, take their womenfolk, and give them the Bible, telling them to turn the other cheek. The process has been followed to the letter against pagan Europe, in Africa, in Asia, and all over the Americas. The Roman agenda has lasted for over 2,000 years, and most surprisingly, is hiding in plain sight.